Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm in a different place. I'm in my bedroom. Wesley is downstairs having a nap. Lighting, I don't think it's the best here. Actually, maybe it's okay. But he's downstairs napping and I don't want to be talking down there. Plus, I have his white noise on so loud. And I know I've noticed in a few of my videos with his white noise on, you can really hear it in the background. And anyways, I'm upstairs today, so I'm just doing this vlog style, but I am going to share with you a little bit more about our curriculum, our Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons curriculum. I have shared with you guys many times through my YouTube videos, through my Instagram, and just talking to you guys about this is what we use for teaching our kids to read. And I'm getting texts back there. Anyways, but I wanted to show you a more in-depth look into this book, just kind of give you a flip through so that if you are thinking about curriculums and what you would like to use, you can actually get a little bit more of a look into this book and see what it's all about. So I'm just going to show this to you now. I hope that you guys can see this okay and the lighting is alright and you can see this book. This is a new way of filming that I don't usually use. Anyways, so here it is, Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. Here is the author. And then right at the beginning of the book goes through and shows you pronunciations and just kind of how to use the dot with the line in sounding out words. And of course there are 100 lessons. And then you start off so super simple just with sound introduction. As it shows all these words here, you're supposed to say everything in red and then everything in black is just instructions for you. And so it just explains how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to put your finger on the dot and then slide it over and make the sound, and then your child copies. So it does start off very, very simple, and you are really just sounding out letters and just learning letter sounds. Then you work on saying things slow and saying them fast, because the kids learn to sound out words by sounding them out very slowly, and then after they sound them out slowly, then they say it fast. So the first few lessons go by very quickly, and my kids have gone through the first lessons fairly quickly, like 3 or 4 lessons in a day for the first few days, just because when my kids have done this book, they have already known all their letter sounds. But you could start it with kids not even knowing their letter sounds and just go through this slower. Let's play Say It Fast. So I'm going to say lawn, mower. And then you say to the child, now say it fast, and they'll say lawnmower. And so you're working on saying things slow and saying things fast. You're going through and just learning more and more sounds, so all these sound introductions, and then each lesson you're also reviewing the sounds that they have already learned. And then you start to do a blend. So you will put your finger under here and tell the child to sound that out. They will say it slowly, sa, and then once they have that down, you'll say, okay, now say it fast. And they can say it again, sa. And then as we go further on, it's a lot of the same things. You'll be saying some words. So here, say at, say eat. And then you go through them again and you'll say, now say at, eat. And so they're understanding how it works when they're sounding out words, and then again how they can say it faster to sound how you normally do when you are talking. Then so we go through some more sounds, and we go through learning the line on top of the E, making the long sound. E. So I always teach my kids whenever you see the line on top, it just means say the letter's name. And as you go on and learn more words, you will see that there are words where they have the line on top, and then as you go further on in the book, sometimes they won't have the line on anymore, and kids just get used to how the letter will sound in that setting. Then as we get a bit further on, we are on to lesson 11 now. You start to do a lot more rhyming. So first you're going to start your lesson off by reviewing some sounds, and then you're going to get here and you say, we're going to do some rhyming. So these are the sounds I'm going to start with. And s. They're going to sound those out, and then you say, we're going to rhyme with am. What are we going to rhyme with? Your child will say am. And then you'll put your finger under this ball and you'll say, okay, we're going to start with this letter and we're going to rhyme with am. And they'll sound it out, ram, and Sam. So you're doing a lot of rhyming, learning letter sounds, and learning how to combine words. And then as you can see, you're getting into a few more words here. Whenever it's a silent letter, they just put it really small so the child knows they don't have to sound it out, but the letter A is in the word eat. So it just gradually gets trickier. Each lesson they first have sounds, then they have some rhyming, they have, oops, I turned 2 pages. They do their sounds, they have some rhyming to do, they have some words, and then they start learning stories. So this is very early on. It's a very simple story. That rat is sad, but it quickly gets more difficult. And then with the story, they always have a picture as well. So let's flip forward quite a ways now. Let's go about to lesson, let's see. This is lesson 35. So again, we're learning new sounds. So now we're learning combinations like SH together. Again, reviewing old sounds, reviewing some words. Here we have a new word, I. They're learning that when they see the I, you just say I. That is a new word. And then they have their story again. So you're reading out this whole story. Sometimes it takes a little while as they're learning to read the story. And sometimes if they go really slow, I might ask them to read it through a second time. And then there's going to be a picture also that goes with the story they just read. And it really just progresses from there as you go on. We're at lesson 52 now. This is the lesson I'm at with my son currently. So he just learned that AR says R, and so he's going to be sounding out cars and park and R and some other words that we've learned in the past, as well as some sounds. And his stories are getting quite long. We started this book in September. It is currently March, and this is the point that he is at now. And so he will read this story. He's getting a lot better at reading, and he can read this actually fairly quickly. And then he always likes to look at the picture after every few words or every sentence. He's looking over to see how the picture coincides with the story he just read. And then as you go further on, again, you're just learning new sounds. You're starting to learn 2-syllable words, learning new words, and your stories get much longer, and the words get much smaller. And sometimes these stories do get a little bit long, and if I know my child can read all right and they're just slower at reading, sometimes they get really burnt out and really kind of exasperated reading a story this long. So there are times that I will say, okay, you read a couple sentences and then I'll read one sentence, and then you read a couple more sentences and I'll read one sentence, because it does end up being pretty long if they are just reading that all on their own. I'll just go forward and show you all the way to the end so you can see what the end is like. Let's see, looking for lesson 100 here. We are right close to the end. Okay, this is lesson 96. So everything has gotten a little bit smaller and the words a little bit longer, and there by the end of 100 lessons, which should take about 100 days, depending how old your child is when they start. We usually take about a school year to do the whole book, and they're reading out sentences just like this at the end of 100 lessons. I hope that helped a little bit if you're considering using Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons for your kindergartner or child who is learning to read. I hope that that explained enough and showed enough about what the book is like. I have used this with 2 children now, and I've also used, for my oldest, we used another popular one, The Ordinary Parent's Guide to Teaching Reading. I would like to do a comparison video between the 2 reading programs at some point. I will say we definitely prefer this one, and so I would definitely recommend the 100 Easy Lessons, but either one could work, and sometime I do want to do a comparison video just showing the differences between the 2 curriculums. But I hope that answered any of your questions you have on this curriculum, and maybe give you a little bit of confidence that you can teach your child how to read. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you soon.